ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपार करुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरेन्द्रगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्। परित्यज्य मौनं वटाधस्थितिं च व्रजन् भारतस्य प्रदेशात् प्रदेशं मधुस्यन्ति वाचा जनान् धर्ममार्गे नयन् श्रीजयेन्द्रो गुरुर्भाति चित्ते। नमामः शङ्करान् वाक्य विजयेन्द्र सरस्वती श्रीगुरुं शिष्टमार्गानु नेतारं सम्मतिप्रदम्। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। Welcome to the second session of Daivathan Kural class. We will see what Acharya has to offer. So in last session, we saw what is the uniqueness of our Sanatana Dharma and other aspects like why Sanatana Dharma or the Hinduism as we call it today is not its original name, and who is the founder of Sanatana Dharma and things like that we saw in the last session. Today we are going to continue from same volume 1. Before that, so several people have asked me how to make use of Daivathan Kural, how to make how, like if I read Daivathan Kural, how to incorporate that in my life, how to make the best use of Daivathan Kural, or how to approach Daivathan Kural. That's the question I have been hearing. I will just tell you my opinion, and this is very subjective. I think it is wise to approach Daivathan Kural with a very open mind. You will get a lot of benefits if we approach Daivathan Kural with an open mind. What does that mean? It means if we already have a certain opinion about a certain topic and we start to read Daivathan Kural looking for confirmation of our opinion, sometimes it will not work. We will be having certain opinion on certain subjects, and Acharya sometimes will say the same opinion, sometimes he will be of exactly the opposite opinion. So please do not look for confirmation of our opinion in Daivathan Kural. So we have to approach Daivathan Kural with an open mind, with that much of Shraddha that we have to change our opinion according to what is there in Daivathan Kural. We have to align ourselves according to what is there in Daivathan Kural. If we approach the book, if we approach Periyava looking for confirmation of what we already know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So with that, we will see today's class. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks Krishna a very important question. Atakhena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Arjuna asks Krishna, hey Krishna, why do people commit papam? Because we say Sanatana Dharma is a glorious dharma. It has laid, all the rules and regulations for our own benefits. But if we see people around us, even ourselves, we commit a lot of papam. If there is a certain rule book that is supposed to prevent us from doing papams, then why do we do papams? It's a very valid question. And Krishna gives a very, very profound answer. He says, Kamayesha Krodhayesha Rajoguna Samudbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyenam Miha Vairinam. Bhagavan says, hey Arjuna, know these two to be your enemies. Vidyenam Iha Vairinam. Vairinaha means enemies. What are the enemies? Kama and Krodha. Kama means asai. Any desire is kama, and when that desire is not fulfilled, we get angry. We get angry at people. I want a promotion in my office, and there exists another person X who is standing between me and my promotion. See, promotion is the object I desire, and there is a person X stands in the way of my promotion to senior manager. So my promotion is my kama, and this person X who prevents me from attaining kama is going to be subject of my krodha, my anger. So these are two things, and even though they are two separate things, now like people conceive it as two separate things, they are just two sides of the same coin. And Krishna says, because of kama and krodha, people are doing papam. Kama yesha, krodha yesha, rajoguna samudbhavaha, and he uses two words, mahashanaha, mahapapma. Mahashanaha. Ashanaha is an eater. A person who eats is called as Ashanaha. Mahashanaha. Maha, periya eater. Perum sapadravan. Means what? It eats away all your punyams. Kama and krodha eats away people's punyam. It doesn't stop with eating all the punyam. It doesn't stop with depleting our punyam, but it is also mahapapma. Papma, it causes us to do a lot of papam as well, Arjuna. So people know these are the rules and regulations, but because of their kama krodha, people make papam. People commit papams because of kama and krodha, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And Acharya says, we commit papam with these four instruments. With these four instruments, we commit papams, says Acharya. What are the four instruments? We commit papam with our body. We commit papam with our speech. We commit papam with our mind. And we commit papam with our money that we have got. You know, imagine papam to be a big water tank, and there are four pumps putting water into that water tank. There are four pumps which feed the papam tank. What are those four pumps? They are our body, speech, mind, and money. Body is called as kayam. Speech is called as vak. Mind is called as manas. So mano, vak, kayam. Mind, speech, body. So these are the three instruments with which we commit papam. And Acharya also includes money in the list, because we also have lot of money. Thinking that we have a lot of money, we commit a lot of papam with the money as well. So we want to deplete our papam tank. If we want our papam tank to be empty, what should we do? We need to switch off all these four pumps. We need to switch off the papam that is done by body. We need to switch off papam that is done by speech. We need to switch off papam that is done by mind. And we need to switch off papam that is done through money. And Acharya says how we can achieve that. For the papam that is done by our body. Okay, what are the papams that we do with our body? We hurt people physically. We slap people. We hit people. And also sometimes when we drive, we unintentionally we run over some animals, and those all will contribute to the papam that is done by our body. And Acharya says, in order to remedy those papams, in order to turn off that pump, that body pump, you need to do punyam with our body. The same instruments with which we do papam, with those same instruments, we have to start doing punyam in order to balance it out, says Acharya. Okay, what should we do with our body? With our body, we can do a lot of paropakaram. Para upakaram. Upakaram means helping others. So paropakaram is helping others. With the body with which we hurt people, we also should start doing helps to other people. And other things like pradakshinam or uravarappani to a temple, all those things are sitting in one place and doing a puja, doing an abhishekam, doing pradakshinam, doing anga pradakshinam, or going for kshetradanams, doing all those things with our body will help in order to balance all the papams that we have committed with our body. So that is the papam done with the body. And next, papam done with our speech. What are the papams that we do with our speech? We speak a lot of things. We gossip, water cooler gossips, gossips we do. And we also hurt people with our mouth. Sometimes when we get angry, people don't even know what they talk. So that those are the papams. When we hurt others, it is a papam that we commit. And those are the papams we commit with our speech, with our vak. Thiruvalluvar says, Teenal suttapun ullarum arade, navinal suttavadu. So papams that is done by our speech is more subtle than papam that is done by our body, and it is more stronger as well. And what is the remedy for papam that is done by our speech? Acharya suggests a very simple solution. Do Bhagavan Nama Jabam. It doesn't take a lot of time to say Rama 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 Rama, or Krishna 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 Krishna, or Hara 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 Hara, or we can say Jaya Jaya Shankara Hara Hara Shankara. Any Bhagavan Namam we can take, and Acharya says, hey, it is just Bhagavan Namam. You can even chant Bhagavan Namam while going to office. You are driving a car, we are driving a car. Instead of listening to any cinema music, we can listen to Bhagavan Nama. We can chant Bhagavan Nama. So Bhagavan Nama, there are no restrictions. You can chant anywhere and everywhere Bhagavan Nama. So in order to balance out the papams that are done by our speech, Bhagavan Namam is a very, very easy solution, says Acharya. And what about papam that is committed with our mind? What are the papams we commit with our mind? We think about a lot of things. Lot of things are happening surrounding us, and we have a very, very strong opinion about all those things. And while having a strong opinion, we, even without considering others' position, we say this person is right, this person is wrong. We don't even have to say, we don't even have to say with open mouth. We think that, okay, this person looks right, this person looks wrong. But we are not a judge. We haven't asked both of the parties to come in front of us and then, say why do they, like why they have made that decision, what they have made. But even without knowing all those things, we just jump to conclusions, right? So that is one type of papam. And all the poramai, jealousy, anger, everything that we have in our mind contributes to the papam that is done with our mind. And Acharya says, in order to balance those papams out, we have to do Bhagavad Dhyanam. Bhagavad Dhyanam is the only way with which our mind can be balanced out. Acharya says, hey, if we think Dhyanam and all is for all the yogis, Acharya says that is not right. Who needs medicine? Only those people who have diseases, they need medicine. If we commit papam with our mind, then we have to do Bhagavad Dhyanam with our mind. Nobody else can help us in this respect, says Acharya. So for the papams committed with our mind, the solution is to do Bhagavad Dhyanam. And what about papams that we commit with our money? We commit a lot of papams with our money, even unknowingly. Just we would like to show off our pomp. That is a papam. Acharya, throughout his lifetime, Acharya says, please lead a very, very simple life. You don't have to show off your money to others. And, he says, okay, don't wear any pattu podavai. Pattu podavai means silk sarees. Because it costs money. And what it causes is that it also causes the people who do not have that kind of resources to think, hey, I don't have those resources, but it is very norm to buy 10,000 rupees pattu padavai for my daughter's marriage. So I'm going to borrow money and I'm going to make that thing. Acharya says those things are all not needed. We don't have to spend a lot of money, in like Vaidika functions like marriages or Upanayanam, etc. Throughout his life, he advocated living very, very simple life, because if we show off, what that becomes is that people who cannot afford that, they borrow money, they steal money in order to bring up their level as well. And that is a papam, says Acharya. And what about the papam, like how to balance out papams that is committed through money? We have to spend money to help others. Acharya has done a tittam called as PD Arisi Tittam. It is a very beautiful scheme where daily, daily when we are cooking rice, all we have to do is keep out one fistful of rice, one fistful of raw rice in a bank, in a patram, in a vessel, and then donate that rice for a common cause. So that is called as PDRC Tittam. That was, Acharya, he initiated that scheme. Even now that scheme is happening. In various ways. Even Shankara Matam, they have got $1 per day scheme. Daily we are spending a lot. You can spend $1 in order to, for a good cause. So that is spending money to help others and spending money for Bhagavan. What about spending money for Bhagavan? There are a lot of dilapidated temples in India which do not even have, a regular kurkal or a regular pujari in order for doing regular puja, which do not even have money for putting on a small light in the Garbhagraha. So we can contribute money to all those things in order to get rid of papam that is committed through our money. And out of all these fours, mano, vak, kayam, and money, body, mind, speech, and money, this mind is a very, very important organ. This mind is a very, very important organ that needs to be taken care of, because it is this mind that controls the remaining three. Our mind controls our body. Our mind controls our speech. Our mind controls how we spend our money. So we have to be very, very important with our mind. And in Tirupavai, Andal says, okay, how can we remember all those things? All we have to do is just remember this one Tirupavai. Mayanai Mannu Vadamadurai Maindanai Tuya Perunir Yamunai Turaivanai Ayar Kulattinil Tondrum Anivilakkai Tayai Kudal Vilakkam Seida Damodaranai Tuyomai Vandanam Toomalar Tuvi Torudu. Toomalar Tuvi Torudu. Torudu means by doing puja. So that we do with our body. Tuyomai Vandanam Toomalar Tuvi Torudu. we do puja with our body. Vayinal padi, we do namajapam with our mouth. Manattinal sindika, we do Bhagavad Dhyanam with our mind. All these things Andal has said in 2 lines. தூயோமாய் வந்து நாம் தூமலர் தூவி தொழுது வாயினால் பாடி மனத்தினால் சிந்தித்தால் what will happen? போய பிழையும் புகுதருவான் நின்றனவும் தீயினில் தூசாகும் செப்பேலோர். Whatever the errors that we have committed will be burnt in the fire. போய பிழையும் தீயினால் தூசாகும், says Andal in Tirupavai. So we can remember all those things, Mano, Vakayam and Mani, just by remembering this Tirupavai Pasuram. And coming back to the mind, our mind is a very, very important organ, and it is the most subtle of all the four. Panam we can see, body it is not subtle, our speech it is not subtle, but our mind is the most subtlest thing that we have, because what we do with our money, everybody can see. What we do with our body, it is open for everybody. What do we do with our vak? At least those people who hear what we speak will know, can judge us based on what we speak, what we do with our body, what we do with our money. But nobody can see what we think in our mind. A person can have, he spends money in lot of good ways, he does a lot of good things, he speaks a lot of good things, but what if his mind is not so good? Nobody knows. And it is that mind which will direct all the three into doing good or doing bad. So we have to regulate our mind, says Acharya. There is a Upanishad called as Amrita Bindu Upanishad. It says, Manayeva Manushyanam Karanam Bandha Mokshayoho. Manayeva Manushyanam. For people, for Manushyas, Manayeva Bandha Mokshayoho Karanam. It is that mind which causes bandha, and the same mind causes moksha as well. Bandhaya Vishayasaktam Muktyai Nirvishayam Smritam. What is that mind which causes bandha, which causes bondage? That mind which goes towards outward objects, which goes towards sense pleasures, it causes bandha, it causes bondage. And that mind which goes towards inwardly, antarmukha samaradhya, which is being introvert, which does not go towards sense pleasures, but which goes to Bhagavan, which does a lot of dhyanam. So that mind, muktehi nirvishayam smritam, so that mind causes moksha, says this Upanishad. And Acharya also says it is very, very important to regulate that mind to, in order to take, we have to reclaim our mind from going towards outward objects, and we have to direct our mind to go towards dhyanam, yogam, etc. And that person, Acharya says, is called as yogi. And Acharya also cautions, see, when I say yogam, when I say dhyanam, please do not think that, okay, it is only for, people with after 80 years of age, it is only for those higher Mahatmas. Please don't think it is for everybody. Whoever has got problems, they have to drink the medicine. If we do papam with our mind, then if we want to remedy it, then we have to undergo these things, says Acharya. So we can imagine mind as a water tank, and it has two output, one towards outward objects and another towards inward objects. And what we can do is we can put a valve to those two outputs, and that valve is called as sadhanas. Through sadhanas, through practice, we can regulate our mind. Through practice, through practicing certain disciplines, we can prevent our mind from going towards outward objects. We can close this valve and we can open this valve in order for mind, in order to direct our mind to go more and more inwardly, says Acharya. And even sadhanas are of two types. One is an external sadhana and another is an internal sadhana. What are external sadhanas? External sadhanas are paropakaram, going to temples, helping others, doing lot of dharmas, doing lot of karmas like puja, punaskarams, etc. They are external sadhanas that help to direct our mind, from the outward objects towards inwardly. Those are external sadhanas. And what is the prime internal sadhana? The prime internal sadhana is called as dhyanam. Bhagavad Dhyanam is the major internal sadhana which can help us regulate our mind. And Acharya says there are 5 disciplines which help, our mind to go inwards. These are 5 internal sadhanas which we have to do in addition to dhyanam. These are auxiliary sadhanas which help dhyanam to bring mind under our own control, says Acharya. And these sadhanas are grouped together called as samanya dharma. Dharma we all know. Samanya dharma, these are common dharmas which everybody should follow. These are common dharmas for everybody. Everybody can follow. Everybody should follow these dharmas. And these dharmas are internal sadhanas in order to have mastery over our mind, says Acharya. If I say what are these dharmas, we know, oh, only these are called as samanya dharma. These look like very, very small dharma, but they have very, very far-reaching implications. What are those samanya dharmas? They are ahimsa, satyam, asteyam, saucham, and indriya nigraham. These are samanya dharmas. Ahimsa, satyam, asteyam, saucham, and indriya nigraham. What are each and everything? We are going to see it today. Ahimsa, we all know, do not harm others. We say non-violence is called as ahimsa. Himsa, to hurt others. Ahimsa, not to help, not to hurt others. Ahimsa is a very, very important samanya dharma which everybody have to follow. And Acharya says ahimsa is not causing harm to others with our mind, speech, and actions. Because we can cause harm to people with our mind. If we get angry, if we have jealousy, if we have poramai, that is causing harm to others with our mind. If we talk bad about others, it is causing harm. It is hurting others with our speech. And there is a physical action with which we can hurt others as well. And ahimsa is not causing harm with all our mano, vak, kayam or trikaranams. And Acharya says ahimsa is a very, very important thing that helps to bring mind control. Remember, ahimsa also about food. Eating vegetarian things is one of the prime important thing that Acharya says for ahimsa. And Acharya also says there are 2 phalams. One is called as mukhya phalam and one is called as avantara phalam. Say you are going to a sugar factory. Sugar can is the input. What is the mukhya phalam of the sugar can? That is sugar crystals, right? You crush sugar can in order to make sugar. So sugar is called as mukhya phalam, and all the wastes all the chakkai that comes from crushing sugar cane, it is called as avantara phalam. And if you go and see sugar factories, people use that in order to make electricity, blah, blah, blah. But no one crushes sugar cane to make electricity. Making electricity is just a byproduct, but sugar is the main product for sugar cane, right? In the same way, ahimsa, following ahimsa as well, has got two phalams. One, the intended product, and another byproduct. One, mukhya phalam. What is the mukhya phalam of following ahimsa? Mind control. And what is the avantara phalam? What is the byproduct of following ahimsa? Acharya says in Yoga Sutra, it is said that ahimsa pratisthayam yat sannidhau vairatyagaha. Wherever people who follow ahimsa exists, in that sannidhi, all the other people surrounding this ahimsa purusha will forget their krodha, will forget their anger. Says Yoga Sutra, ahimsa pratisthayam tat sannidhau, even in that presence. That person does not have to open his words. This person does not have to chant any mantras or, sprinkle any water. Just in his mere sannidhi, vairatyagaha, vaira means anger, vairatyagaha, all the anger of other people will go away, says this Yoga Sutra. Can we see an example? There is an example in Devi Mahatmyam. In Devi Mahatmyam, there is a king. That king, he renounces his kingdom. He goes to an ashrama of a rishi called as Sumedhas. The king goes to the ashrama of a rishi called as Sumedhas. There, Devi Mahatmyam says, Satatrashrama Madrakshi Dvijavaryasya Medasaha Prashanta Shwapadakirnam Munisishyopashobhitam. It is a forest in that was olden days, so not a lot of poaching existed. So all the ferocious animals like lion, tiger, wild elephants, they all were existing in that forest. But in that ashrama, whatever the animal comes, however ferocious it was, in that ashrama, it had a very peaceful existence. Prashantaha. It had a very peaceful existence, says Devi Mahatmyam. So that says that in the presence of an ahimsavadi, in the presence of a person who follows ahimsa, all the krodha of the other people will also goes away, and that is the avantara phalam, that is the byproduct of ahimsa, says Acharya. And Acharya also says, for sannyasi, ahimsa is the prime dharma. Sannyasi, when they take up sannyasa, sanyastoham, they say, okay, I renounce. They also say, sarva bhutebhyaha abhayam. I resolve that because of me, that I will not cause any fear in any of the animals or plants or humans. In any of the beings, I will never cause any fear. I will never cause any harm. That is the prime resolve that all the sannyasis takes up, says Acharya. And it is for that reason why sannyasis do not have adhikaram over Agni. Normally, as householders, we do homam with our own hands. For brahmacharis, they have to do Agni Karyam called as Samitadana. For a grihastha, they have to do an Agni Karma, Agni Karyam called as Aupasanam or Agni Hotram or Yajnas. There are 21 Yajnas that is said in Shastras, and a person has to do all those Yajnas. But for a sannyasi, he renounces all those things. We will never see Periyava doing homam with his own hands, because all the sannyasis, they have renounced Agni. It is because of ahimsa vratam. Because when we have Agni, it is very, very common. Some poochi, pottu, some small insects, they die. And Acharya says, because of that reason, sannyasis do not have adhikaram for Agni, and we renounce Agni as well. And we all would have heard Chaturmasyam, etc. Those are like 4 months where sannyasis will stay in one place. Normally, sannyasis should not stay in the same place for more than certain days, says sannyasa dharma. But during Chaturmasya Vratam, for those 4 months, now it is observed for 2 months, saying Paksha Vai Masaha. They calculate each Paksha as one Masa, so they observe it for 2 months. So for those months, a sannyasi cannot even move from one place to another. Why? Acharya says in some other place in Devattan Kural, it is because of rainy season. The time that they observe Chaturmasya Vratam, it was rainy season in India, and normally in rainy season there is going to be Seru, Sahadi everywhere, and small poochis like Kosu or Manpuru, they all will be present in that Seru, Sagadi, in that mud. And when sannyasi goes, unknowingly he will be stepping on those small insects and killing them. And because of the resolve that sarvabhutebhyo abhayam, because of that resolve that I will not cause fear, I will not cause harm to any small objects, even for a small beings, sannyasi chooses to stay in the same place for the Chaturmasya Vratam. So for sannyasi, ahimsa is the major dharma. And Acharya says, if we buy everything, they say conditions apply. They put a star and say conditions apply. Right? Even for ahimsa, there are some exceptions available. In order for having a dharmic lifestyle, in order for having a regulated lifestyle, some kind of violence might be needed. A policeman cannot say, I follow ahimsa and then not hurt all the criminals. A policeman's duty is to do all those things. An army man, in the border, he cannot say, hey, I follow ahimsa, I will not shoot at the enemies. For those people, there are some exceptions. A doctor cannot say, hey, I follow ahimsa, so I will not do operation on it. Because when you do operation, there is going to be a lot of pain. But a doctor has to do his duty. A policeman has to do his duty. An army man has to do his duty. And there are some karmas, there are some Vaidika karmas where Jiva Himsa might be there. But in order for Loka Kshema, those exceptions have to be followed as well. Those exceptions have to be given for this ahimsa, says Acharya. Next, so even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says about three tapam. When we say tapam, Krishna says about shariram tapam, Krishna says about vang tapam, Krishna says about manas tapam. Meaning tapam, tapas done with our body, tapas done with our mind, tapas done with our walk, tapas done with our speech. These are the three tapams Krishna says in Gita. And now we understand why Krishna chooses body, mind and speech. Because we do papam with all those trikaranas. And Krishna says, Krishna has this for to say about shariram tapam. He says, Veda with Deva Dvijaguru Pragnya Pujanam Sauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsacha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. Deva Dvijaguru Pragnya Pujanam Sauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsacha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. Krishna says, hey Arjuna, all these things are called as Sharira Tapam. What are those things? Deva, Dvija, Guru, Pragnya Pujanam. The doing puja to our Guru, doing puja to Bhagavan, doing puja to all the Devas, doing puja to all the learned people. That is called as Shariram Tapam Arjuna. And Shaucham we are going to see later. Arjavam, straightforwardness. Brahmacharyam, being established in Brahman. And ahimsa, ahimsa, non-violence. All these things are called as shariram tapam, Arjuna. So please do tapam. Normally we think when somebody says tapam, we have to go to forest, sit in a calm place and do tapam. It is not so. We can do tapam now itself if we follow all these things. So that is what Acharya has to say about ahimsa. The next value, the next dharma is called as satyam. Satyam, there is a lot of importance given for this value called as Satyam. So much that India has made its emblem to say Satyameva Jayate. If we see Indian emblem, these words are there. Satyameva Jayate. In fact, these words are taken from an Upanishad. How many people know? I don't know. But the word Satyameva Jayate comes in an Upanishad called as Mundaka Upanishad. There are several Upanishads, several hundred Upanishads. Of those, 108 Upanishads are important, and of those 108 Upanishads, 10 Upanishads are called as Dasopanishad. And all the Trimathastas, Acharya, Adi Shankaracharya, Ramanuja and Madhvacharya, all those sampradayams, they all have their own commentary for these 10 major Upanishads called as Dasopanishad. And Mundaka Upanishad is one of the Dasopanishad. And this Vakyam Satyameva Jayate comes in Mundaka Upanishad. It says, Satyameva Jayate Nanritam Satyena Pantha Vitato Devayanaha. Satyameva Jayate. Truth alone triumphs. If we see commentaries, it says Satyavaneva Jayate. Only those people who follow Satya, they will be victory. Na Anritam. Anritam means false. Na Anritam Jayate. Na Anritavan Jayate. Those people who do not follow Satya, those people who take to falsehood, they will not have victory, says the Upanishad. Satyena Pantha Vitato Devayanaha. Those people who take to Satya, the Satyam will lead to Devayana, Deva path, says this Upanishad. So Satyam is a very, very important value that is often told in many Upanishads. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it says Satyam Vada Dharmanchara. You have to say Satyam, says Taittiriya Upanishad. Even in Mahanarayana Upanishads, a beautiful line comes, Satyam param paragum satyagum satye nanasu vargan loka chavante kadachana satagum hi satyam tasmaat satye ramante. Satyam param. Param means highest. Highest value is Satyam. Paragum Satyam. It repeats itself. Satyam param, paragum Satyam. Satyena suvargan lokachyavante. Only with Satyam people can go to Suvargam. Satagum hi Satyam tasmat Satye ramante. Satam. All those good people, Satye ramante, they all find happiness in Satyam, says Mahanarayana Upanishad. So Satyam has got a very, very important place in our Sanatana Dharma. And what is Satyam? Acharya says, Vang Manasayoho Aikarupam Satyam. Harmony between speech and mind is called as Satyam. What we speak, we have to think. What we think, we speak. Not that having one thing in our mind and speaking others. So that is not Satyam. And for Satyam Vada, Acharya says in his Taittiriya Upanishad Bhashyam, Satyam means Anrita Varjanam. Not speaking falsehood is called as Satyam. Why? Because there is a technical difference. Speaking only truth is different from not speaking false. How? Acharya says, we have to speak Satyam, but as long as it doesn't hurt others. If a person has got a flaw, Just because we have taken to the Satyavratam, we cannot go and hurt him by telling him all the flaws. We should not do that. That is not dharma. We speak Satyam as long as it doesn't hurt others, says Acharya, because he quotes a shlokam, Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat, na bruyat, satyam apriyam, priyancha nandritam bruyat, yesha dharma sanatanaha, Satyam bruyat, speak the truth. Priyam bruyat, speak what is liked by people. Nabruyat satyam apriyam. Even something is truth, if that is going to hurt others, just close your mouth, says this shloka. You don't have to speak, you don't have to lie, but you can choose to close our mouth. We can choose to close our mouth in those situations, says the shlokas. So Satyam, again Satyam, there is a star and it says condition apply as long as it doesn't hurt others. So we cannot be Satyasandha, go on hurting others, go on pointing out other people's flaws, saying, hey, Shastra says we have to say Satyam. No, Satyam is a very important virtue. If you cannot speak Satyam, if we think speaking Satyam is going to hurt others, the best thing is just close our mouth, says Acharya. And even Satyam has got an Avantara Phalam. You know, just like how previously Ahimsa has got an Avantara Phalam. What is the Avantara Phalam for Ahimsa? Avantara Phalam means byproduct. What is the byproduct for Ahimsa? If somebody practices Ahimsa, just in his presence, all the other people will forget their anger. So that is the byproduct Avantara Phalam for Ahimsa. And what is the Avantara Phalam for Satyam? What is the byproduct for Satyam, says Acharya? If a person has committed to Satyam, even unknowingly, if he speaks otherwise, Bhagavan will make sure that the other thing becomes true. It is a very important concept. If a person continuously speaks Satyam, he has never spoken a single lie in his life. For some reason, knowingly or unknowingly, he says one thing by mistake. He lies. For some reason, not of his mistake. He says a lie, and Acharya says, Bhagavan will make sure that that thing comes true. And Acharya quotes the episode of Abhirami Pattar in Tirukadayur. We all know the story. For those people who don't know, in Shastram, according to Shakta Shastrams, it is said that Ambal's face has to be meditated upon in full moon. Like when we are doing Ambal's Dhyanam, Ambal's face has to be meditated upon as beautiful as full moon. In Lalita Sahasranamam, it says Sharat Chandra Nibhanana, Chandra Nibhanana, Chandramukhi, etc. And this Abhirama Pattar is a great Devi Upasaka, and he always meditates upon Ambal. For others, it looks like this person is not normal, but for him, he always sits and meditates upon Ambal. And this other people have started forming some kind of jealousy towards him. At that time, the king of that country comes to the temple, and everybody, we all know how now, you know, when a politician comes, everything is centered around him. In the same way, in those days, when the king comes, because king is the main supporter of the temple, everybody went to receive the king. But Abhirama Pattar was sitting and he was doing his own tapa. And king, even though he was a Dharmavan, he kind of thought, hey, I'm a king and this person is still sitting. He's not coming to welcome me. What is happening? So the king inquired about him to others. And others said, because of jealousy, hey king, this person is not good. This person says he is thinking about Ambal all the time, but he does not know even the basics of any achara. You know, even basic acharas, he does not know. Every morning he comes with a beautiful pattai and puttu, and he sits in the temple and everybody comes and worships him. You know, he gets his ego gets satisfied, blah, 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 blah. So people told all those gossips about Abhirama Pattar to that king. So the king wanted to test Abhirama Pattar. And the king tested Abhirama Pattar by asking what is today's tithi. Tithi, we all know, like Prathama, Dvitiya, Paurnami, Amavasa. Depending upon the phases of the moon, we have several tithis. And king asked Abhirama Pattar, hey, what is today's tithi? And that day happened to be an Amavasya. It is a new moon day. So there was no moon in the sky. And the king asked, hey, what is today's tithi? And Abhirama Pattar, because he was meditating upon Ambal's face, he was meditating upon Ambal's face in Chandran, he sees a Purna Chandra. He sees a full moon in his mind. So without knowing, he says, today is Paurnami. Today is a full moon day. Even though it was a new moon day, even though it was a no moon day, Abhirama Pattar said it is a full moon day. And all the others said, hey king, we told you before. This person does not even know what is today's tithi. And he says today is Paurnami despite today being Amavasya. Now see it for yourself. So the king got angry. If moon does not come tonight, I am going to kill you, said the king. And he made all the preparations. And Abhirama Pattar sang Abhirami Andadi. And what did Ambal do? Because Abhirama Pattar was a Satya Sandha, because Abhirama Pattar was always speaking Satyam throughout his life, Ambal wanted to make whatever he said to come true. So Ambal showed moon even on an Amavasya day. And Acharya says, this is the power of Satyam. This is the Avantara Phalam of Satyam. And Asirvadams of all Mahans. We go to all Mahans and then we get Asirvadam. They say, we hear a lot of story. Mahaperiva says, hey, you don't have to need any operation for this. It will get cured by itself. And people say it got cured. Why? It is because of that Satyam Tapaha. It is because of that tapas. It is because of that Satyam they spoke throughout their lives. Ambal, Bhagavan brings whatever they say into true. And that is the Avantara Phalam of Satyam. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, previously we saw Shariram Tapam as Ahimsa. Now Krishna says, Anudveka Karam Vakyam Satyam Priyahitam Chayat Swadhyayabhyasanam Chaiva Vangmayam Tapa Uchyate. So Satyam is a Vak Tapam. Just like Ahimsa was a body tapam, was a sharirakam tapam, Satyam is a Vak tapam. And even here, Krishna says, Anudveka karam vakyam. Whatever the vakyam that we speak should not create an udvekam on the other people. It should not stir their mind. An argument should only be lighting, not heatening. So we don't have a heating argument because you are a Satyasandha. Anudveka karam vakyam Satyam Priyahitam Chayat. It has to be Priyam for everybody. It has to be Hitam for everybody. And Swadhyayabhyasanam Chaiva, doing Vedadhyanam, chanting Bhagavan Nama, all comes under this. All these are called as Vangmayam Tapamuchyate. All these are Vak Tapa, hey Arjuna, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So there we have seen two virtues of the five Samanya Dharmas. The third virtue is called as Asteyam, non-stealing. Asteyam literally means do not steal anybody's property. And even Veda says, Ishavashyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunchita magritah kasya svidhanam. Whose property you are stealing? Everything in this universe is Bhagavan property. So do not like anybody else's property. And to steal is one of Pancha Mahapapas. Now we have to be very, very important. When we say steal, it doesn't only mean stealing money from others, stealing gold from others, stealing properties from others. Even time, we cannot steal others' time. Even resources. we are now utilizing a lot of resources, and if we don't contribute, if we keep on consuming without contributing, even that amounts to stealing, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Tairdattan apradayebhyaha yobhungte sthena evacha. That person, Tairdattan apradayebhyaha, that person which keeps on consuming without contributing to others, yobhungte stena evacha, that person is a mahastenaha. Stenaha means thirudan, says Krishna. And Krishna in the same chapter says, the person who cooks for himself and eats, he does not eat food, he eats lot of papam, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Epachantyatma karanat, that person who cooks food for himself without giving to others, because cooking food, he is using a lot of contribution. If a farmer has to toil, there should be a lot of water, there should be a lot of other things that is involved in production of food. And if we keep on consuming, the person who cooks for himself, only for himself, without contributing to others, ye pachantyatma karana tasmat agham bunjate ye pachantyatma karanat. That person, he does not eat food, hey Arjuna, he eats only a lot of papam, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And all those things consume and contribute. It says asteyam. So with this, we will finish today's session. Now we have two more samanya dharmas that are left. We will see that in the next class, along with what Acharya has to say. So we will see all these things in the next session. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.